Hey, what's up, guys? Well, we won't say decently short. No, just not a. We didn't get very far in last night's session. It was, it was, it was very isolated as far as what happened. So the recap shouldn't be too long. If you remember, I started off where Aramis, the magnate, had just kind of put out his master confession as to what he had planned to do, the fact that we were brought down here for genetic material for the virus, all that kind of stuff. Everything that was recapped last time. And where I picked up was I had my hands in the air, and the guards had stormed in to take Aramis away. Uh, the first thing I did is I used the voice effectively, the ability I got years ago, to prevent Jai, his loyal guard, from kind of throwing his life away. He drawed his sidearm and was ready to go down blast him, but I told him like to drop it, uh, and he did, and it worked, so that's cool. It's definitely one of those abilities that like sets me aside as far as my race goes because we're not all super powered like that. But listen, I still have use for Jai, and I didn't want him to throw his life away in this process. So he managed to do it, and whenever the guy like came over to kind of lead him away or put him on house arrest, uh, he was like, losing a step in your old age, and I kind of interjected and says, I was like maybe a bit of an aggressive way to surrender. I was like, but I appreciate you not, I was like not throwing your, you're not throwing your life away. And there was like kind of like he was confused because he didn't understand why he dropped it or anything like that. It was a very interesting interaction, but it was kind of like listen, like I can't have you like throw your life away like this. Beyond like Cass is like being a doctor is like there might be some plans for him yet. So I get led back to my place. I sit down with Miriam and Lyria, and I explain to them everything that's been revealed and how horrific the situation actually is. Uh, we go over the idea that like what needs to be our plan of action because we're doing it from a very severe disadvantage, being locked away like this, being isolated from our people and then all resources. Even though we have like some people that might be on our side now, it's just like presumably like the magnate had like a subgroup of people who were like more than happy to support him committing genocide against our people. So like there's an entire faction out there that's like that's operating under those pretenses. So that's scary. Um, we we decide we got to try to get the word out to our people because if I was able to cure the disease, I'm not the most gifted person amongst our people when it comes to like medicine. Like I'm gifted for sure. Like I said, I'm what's known as a top 1%er, but like there's definitely people above me, and like whether there's gift or age and experience that comes with it, like there's other people out there that will either be able to cure the disease or treat it or maybe even come up with something that we're not able to think of. So we want to get that word out there. That's our first step. I approach the door, and the guard who has been friendly with us so far, his name is Rye. Uh, I ask him to like come in and talk to him, and I kind of break down a little bit what's going on. He is apparently completely in the dark. He doesn't even know the magnate's been arrested. So like, there's definitely they're keeping it tight-lipped. I spill maybe a little too much of the beans, but like, I don't view Cass as being like he kind of that he isn't. I want to say like honesty is the best policy, but it's like there's a like I'm not trying to like manipulate this guy into having him follow us or anything. So it's like I kind of like give him the rundown of a little bit what's going on, like that there's this disease out there that the magnate is responsible for it, and he's a diehard magnate supporter, and I was like, you don't understand. I was like, I was too. Like he was our guy down here. It's like we were doing this for him. His son was one of the people that were affected by the disease that we're supposed to treat. He didn't even know why we were down here as far as treating a disease goes. So he isn't completely on board, but he did say that he was willing to go out and reach out to Dr. Amara, who I know is much more on board. Um, So I was like, that's great. I was like, the problem is none of these people are high up enough that I think they have any kind of outreach to Nui proper. Like, I don't know how they're going to get a message out. Like, that's going to be the big problem. So I go back. I mean, it's just like we're kind of doing what we can with what we have right now. So I go back with Miriam and Lyria, and I said our next plan, like, because Miriam says something along the lines of, he doesn't think he can create a virus out of nothing like that. And I was like, that's understandable. I think there's something to do with the process that I went through, specifically that whole rope pulling thing where I ended up suspended between like life and rebirth and like death and entropy, that might allow me to tap into it, but it's all theoretical at this point. So that's where I'm kind of at. Like, it's like, I don't think it's something you're going to be able to do out of nothing. I might be able to teach you how to do it, but I need to figure out how to do it first. And we're already like working against the clock. And I do a scan on the Rise, is something I left out, and there's something going on with him. And it's later revealed through Miriam's help, because like I'm trying to sense it, is that maybe I need to access like the Quarry side of things to be able to actually sense what's going on in there, because like it's adept at hiding from the Nui side of things. So I was like, okay. I was like, first problem is I don't know how to use that at all. Like, it's a completely foreign concept. We're starting from square one with that, and that's where I was getting at, is like we presumably have upwards of 25 days before the symptoms start to manifest, assuming that that he just put the plan into action, which I think is incorrect. I think it's pretty decently established that he's already kind of put things in motion for this thing. Spoiler alert, he has. And the next thing we decided to do is we decided to put together a package that details our treatment efforts of the disease, basically like the methodology behind it. Like, we put it in a way that other doctors will be able to replicate it to the best of their abilities. So we pretty much, I think, finished with that, and just on cue, Dr. Amara shows up, and I start to do the same speech I've given a couple of times now of, oh yeah, there's this terrible thing that's happening, and I get through it with her. I answer the questions I can, and she says, well, I don't know what you want me to do, or like, you know, where you want me to, kind of like where you want me to take this, because like I said, again, like it's just, she's someone I trust, and it's going to have to be on her to like figure things out, what to do with this information, how to get it to Nui proper, how to get it like to people who have like our Nui gifts that can start healing people. And she starts to slur her speech and just falls over unconscious, and that's where I was put on pause. So the disease has already reached its like manifesting stage of messing up people and everything like that. Like, she was, like, I'm guessing that maybe like she was like an advanced case of it, just because maybe Amaris knew that she worked closely with us and she was loyal to us. I don't know, but I gotta try to treat her next session. But that was my session. Like I said, it was definitely longer, but it was just, there was a lot of stuff that I guess wouldn't, not to say it wouldn't get recapped, but it was like, you know, the basically rehashing what the magnate told me last time took up a lot of the session, which, if you listen to the last recap, you already know what I rehashed, so that it gets left out of this one. But that's where I was. I'm probably like maybe an hour or so away from getting my items that I purchased, so we'll see if the sunrise spear or the maker's hammer or anything like that give me any kind of advantages in the coming sessions, because we're gonna need all the help we can get, because we're locked behind we're latched behind a door with no resources and very limited information. And that was it.